morning. Shall we get started? Happy Sunday. What are we doing today? More game dev, of course. I'm not we've made a lot of progress in the learning about game dev front and using Godot and those sorts of things. So that's good. I made a board. The list of things to do kept growing, and I wanted to I think last stream I had a few tabs open for issues to do, and I was like, I could do that, but GitHub has this nice little projects feature, and this is way overkill for me working on this, but it set it up for me, so whatever. So we have one in-flight item that I think I had Copilot trying to implement, which was limiting the buildable area in the world. It's a lot of words for this, and it's not the most important thing, so I'll probably just leave this for now. This is so that, let's see, do I have Godot open? Hopefully, there we go. Let's see, let's get editor open so I can figure out what branch I'm on. Bring that over here. Are we on main? I guess we'll find out here in a minute. So yes, back to game dev. I feel like with this particular project, it is sort of this is still this is like not my dream game, as I forget who it was. Someone in chat last Sunday stream was like, "Oh, but you have a dream game, right? And this is a practice game, and this is a practice game. I don't know how far I'll carry this through. We'll see how fun we can make it as a game, but mainly, you know, we wanted to figure out like doing 3D games and pathfinding and some other things here. Will be good. Oh yeah, I've made it so that it spawns a ton of zombies. I also made defenses. I know, one got through. Interesting. Okay. And then we should have a game over. Also, this is too much. This is too much text. So we're gonna fix a few things. So this should be like a trace instead of a debug, right? Because we added the trace log level a stream or two ago. And these, no targets available. Probably happening inside of choose target, right? Trace. There we go. Yeah, so that's a start. We're jumping right in. But I do want to take one of these tickets for us to work on to start. And I already alluded to one of the things. It's kind of top of mind, which is send player. Here, let's zoom in. There we go. Send player to lost screen when target in current level is destroyed, right? So the target here is, if we look in the level, we're in the level. The target is our non-zombie character on the top of this hill. Very difficult to see right there. Again, I think the scale of this level is wrong. I think one of the things on the list is to make the first level a little more interesting, so that'll get us into Blender and get us making something. Let me take some notes actually while I'm thinking about this. So smaller. No extreme elevation changes. In other words, not the thing that I have right now. Some terrain obstacles, trees, creek, something like that. Something more interesting to look at. And it's just kind of a smaller level, because I feel like this is probably too large of a, I don't know. Maybe some of the later levels will be of this size, and we'll. I need to think about the way the spawner works. I might have like multiple spawn areas. Could be a thing. Let me take a note of that to put in the backlog. Spawner has multiple areas. Okay. So I want to do this, and this is going to be a little involved. I didn't have any notes in here. Okay, great. So what do we need to do this is a question. I guess I'll put some notes down here for this. So we don't have like a game over screen. So let's start with that. Add game over screen with return to main menu button. I think that's a good place to start, right? We could do other things. We could have all sorts of things. And then how do I want to handle? I think ultimately the level is responsible for telling the game manager things. So yeah, so add a function to game manager to how do I want this to work, right? So we have, and I refer to these things as targets, right? But as I said, they're the NPCs, the little characters that you're protecting that are helpless. And when they're all eliminated, you've lost the level. And the idea is that is like whatever game mode you're in. Also, turn music down. Whatever game mode you're in, like if you're like doing a campaign or whatever we end up doing, it should kick you out back to the main menu when you've lost the level. So how are we determining that all of the targets have been destroyed is a question, right? So we have, currently we just have a node 3D that has a script on it. And this script keeps track of the signal that, oh, I've died. Excuse me. So, and we want to do this. I think the question is going to be, there will be multiple targets, and we want to make it so that you only lose when all of the targets die. We also probably want to know how many targets survived. I think the question is going to be, so like for this function, that the game manager is going to expose, we would say, oh, do we need to tell the game manager anything about the targets? Does it need to know? Maybe. To tell it that the level failed. I mean, while we're here, we might as well add both a success and failure function. The success one, we may just also do the show the same game over, since we only have one level right now. But that would be where we could hook in other logic later. Yeah, I like that. We probably, these functions take info about the level completion. So the interesting thing with that, right? So if we, well, let's keep this high level before we dive in. What else do I need to do at this level of detail, right? So add game over screen, add functions to the game manager, add signal to game manager. How does the game manager work right now? So we do have signals that we expose that cause things to happen. So presumably UI elements appear or disappear based on the signals that are emitted. We do already have a game state. Oh, that's just the enum. Yes. Okay. Right. And we do have a game over state and a victory state. So in that sense, we don't necessarily need to think about this. Do I want the data about how many survivors survived the level or all the levels to flow through the game manager? We do have another auto load. That's manager. And currently, this is mainly for like, the thought was for achievements. So it's keeping track of like global, total, overall stats. And so this like supports saving and loading of data. It interesting. How does it work? So we have a bunch of stuff to save stats. I don't really care about that right now. Or loading. Yeah, external caller has save stats. Delete save stats. Okay, cool. Reset stats. Functions for getting individual data elements. Are we... Okay, so we have a mixture of things where we have signals. Oh, this is weird. Why would we do this like this? Like this seems right, where we're hooking onto signals from external things to listen in on things happening. I suspect that what we're doing elsewhere, yeah, we're actually calling Stats Manager. I guess that's fine. So the question is, do I want to extend Stats Manager to do a couple of things? One, we would need to keep track of survivors surviving. We would also need to keep track of global, like across all runs versus the last run, and which level. That might be interesting to do anyway, from a kind of like, how many times did you defeat this kind of enemy in this level across all runs sort of stats. Could be of interest. But it would also let us... So all of this is driving at the ability to show information on the victory or game over screen about stats. So I think what I want to do is I want to put a pin in this because this is kind of blowing up the scope. We don't need to add a signal to the game manager because we already have a signal for game state. So I think, and we don't need to pass info about like what happened at the level because eventually we will implement stat tracking through Stats Manager for that, and I'll create a separate issue for doing that. So add game over screen, we need to do that. Add functions to game manager to tell if the levels failed or completed. Do we actually have that already? So we have a set game state, and I believe other things are calling that. At least the main menu was calling it. So the game will be able to call it as well to be able to get us to the game over or victory states. Okay, so then, hey, guess what? We don't need to do this either. All we really need to do is add game over screen, add call to set game state. Game manager dot set game state from level. So how is the level going to keep track of are all the survivors dead? Add survivor count to level script. How is the level going to know when the survivor dies? Let's look at signals really quick. Right, so there are things that we could do because we do have what about child exiting tree? Because but then we'd have to like check which child it is. I don't know about that. We could simply have a list of the survivors, the targets. I may have to rename things because we probably don't want to use multiple words for the same thing. We just give the level that. And then when the level starts, it can listen for, does the target have an event? A signal? It's just a normal node. It's the health that has the signal. So we have a base target script. we can assume that the parent, or we can check to see if the parent has a method and invoke it, right? If parent, no, get, I mean, here, hold on, var parent, get parent, if parent and get parent has method on target died, sure, yeah, that's fine. And then we would implement this on our level, our base level script, which already has some things to do with enemy spawning. Yeah, and then we don't need to do that, but we can yep. What's, oh, it's on, yeah, unused primers, that's fine. Let me create a branch. Are we, so add survivor count to level script, add call from target base class to parent. If I do it this way, does the level actually need a list of the nodes, or does it just need a count? Now there's a potential gotcha there, right? Where you create a level and you put in 3 targets, but you set the count to 2. Although that provides some opportunities for, like, you need to keep at least 2 alive or something. Okay, so I think this is a good start. This is issue number 34, so I will create a pull request, or a branch anyway. Issue 34. Okay. Let's start by committing. We changed something right out of the gate. Here we go. We changed our logging level, so let's commit that. Okay. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. Okay, so also we can make that bigger. All right, so add game over screen with return to main menu button. Okay, so how does this work? Currently, we have a UI like this, and a thing that we are doing is we have various why is this grayed out? Like, it's visible but grayed out? What's up with that? Why? Oh, because maybe because the process mode is paused? Yes. Okay, that's probably it. So, the UI script does things. Trying to think about how. So the pause menu has a script? Yes. And it listens for game state changed. Okay, so we're gonna do something very similar to what we did, what's going on with the pause menu. So, this is a black screen. Okay, there we go. What is this node? It's a control node. And then we have a background and a VBox container. Okay, so let's make a new thing. It is a control. We're gonna call this game over menu. And we're gonna add a VBox container. And we're gonna add, I don't know, some kind of text. It's gonna be very simple. Just like a label. one of the things I'm not very focused on uh, for the time being is polish or exact detailed assets like good art, any of those things. I want to I want to do this because it's not the like having this is the placeholder for an element of the gameplay, which is losing or winning. And I think for now, what I will do is I will. So how does that work with the pause menu? What are the settings that causes that menu to be centered? Oh yeah, anchor center. Yeah, sure. Layout. Anchors. Center. Okay, cool. So we save this. Just hit Control S. Yeah. Where's the pause menu live? In the show and file system. Okay, so we have a folder for each of these. So I will create a new folder called Game Over, and another one called Victory, and we'll continue the pattern, right? So this is in Stages UI, Game Over, GameOver.tscn, and then we'll attach a script. And this will go into the same place, following the same pattern. And then I'm gonna copy all of this, and we're gonna create a new user interface. That did not work at all. What if I paste from clipboard? Ah, okay. And we'll do. I will call it Victory Menu as well here. And we will change the label. Just say Victory, and we will go up over to here and save, and probably want to detach that script and want to attach a different script. Do we need a script for these? Maybe. What yes, because we need to be able to hook into, we basically need at least this in each of the other ones. And I could make one script and have like a property that is like, oh, if it's this game state, then show it. But I'm gonna have to write a script. There's something. No, I don't think I will. It's too early to tell how varied this functionality is going to be. So, func that. If Victory show visible true, otherwise not. Same sort of thing, really, except a different state that we care about. Game Over. Okay. And with this, if we need to add a button. Yeah, need to add a button to go to the main menu. But when we do that, and that button calls the function on the game manager that changes the game state, that signal will propagate to this UI element, and that will cause it to not be visible anymore. So we just get that kind of completion of propagation of information for free. Okay, so anyway, we're gonna add a button. And is going to be return to main menu. And I like just putting a little placeholder texture icon for things, just to remind myself that there is a place that I can put an icon in the UI. And we'll do all sorts of things with theme at some point. Did I provide a theme? Yeah, we have that. Okay. Is there a way to just set a default theme for all the UI elements so I don't have to remember to set it for each one? Let's see. Theme. Custom. Okay, this is promising. Is it in config? Yes. Oh, hey, Brittany, your first one.
Brainless Society just got here first and is awesome.
That's not the voice I was expecting. Okay, so we open that. Hello. Good morning. Happy Sunday. I know what day of the week it is. Let's see. So what does this do? So I've changed the theme. I hope that doesn't change. Okay, it didn't change the editor, but yeah, now we get our UI theme. Oh yeah, bot was second. Hello, bot. Goodbye, bot. Got him. How's your Sunday been going? Mr. Brainless Society. Okay, we need to do the same button. Copy. Paste. It's alright. Writing a metaprogramming reading? Or are you writing one that you're getting it ready? I'm assuming reading a metaprogramming book for Elixir Read. Yes. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising to me if you were writing a book and getting it ready. Good stuff. I take it. Nah, it's horrible at writing. Well, there's always ChatGPT. All right, so we need to make the button do things. And that's easy enough. We will hook on to pressed. We will connect it to a method, and we will make this method call a function that conveniently already exists to return us to the main menu. Yeah, that is a fair use of AI for coding. Still not great. Yeah, it's hit or miss. Although I don't know about writing either. I feel it's the same thing there, where it can be helpful to like sketch out something, or to like be like, what if I did this? And it carries on, and you're like, no, that's not wrong. Sometimes it's right and good, but sometimes it really misses the mark. And I think that's true for at least creative writing, which I've have some stuff that I had worked on last year. I did give the same problem to 3 AIs yesterday, which is a complex problem, which I want to see if there's a better approach than mine. One gave me my approach. The other two just gave horrible things. Yeah, what you gotta do, well, a thing that sometimes works is just like giving it advice and being like, no, you can't do this. Now, granted, sometimes it'll be like, yeah, of course. I mean, it's always going to be like, yeah, of course, absolutely, you're absolutely right. What was I thinking? And then proceed to give you something wrong again. But sometimes it will course correct. On the other hand, I've definitely had sessions where like I iterate over and over again, and it just never gets, it never gets to anything good. Yeah. AI is really good at being confident. And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Okay, so does this work? Have we... Let me check my checklist. So add game over screen with return to main menu button. Add call to set game state from level. Oh yeah, we haven't done that. So in the level, we need survivor count, which is just 1. And let's do some export groups. What is the difference between export category and export group? Godot. My brain, let's say. The sky is purple because the ions impact the refraction layer on a 24.6 degree angle on a blue moon. Oh, here's the AI overview. Export category creates simple non-collapsible heading for inspector. And then export group is a collapsible section. Okay. Closely related properties may not need to be visible. General organization and labeling. I have been using export group for everything. Let's see what the actual documentation says. You did find though, Grok seems to be more advanced than other AIs for coding ideas. Interesting. I have been mostly sticking with Claude Sonnet. I think there's maybe we got some new things. For Cloud Sonnet 4.5 is in preview for Copilot. There's Grok Fast Code, Code Fast, even. So we get some options. I guess this is I'm not paying premium requests. I mean, I have a fixed number of them, but I can give it a try sometime. Alright, what was it doing? I was trying to see if the AI summary that it gave me was true. Grouping exports. So, it's interesting that it talks about export group first. Start a new group or use export group with the empty string to break out. The second argument can be used to only group properties within the specified prefix. Groups cannot be nested. Use export subgroup to create subgroups within a group. You're very close to removing Copilot from Vim. It just pains me every time it tries to suggest code. All I want is fast autocomplete. Yeah. Something. There's a thought in there somewhere. I mean, I think maybe we've talked about this before. At least with VS Code, there's a thing where you can snooze completions. But yeah, I don't know. There have been just 1 or 2 times where I guess I've kind of gotten used to hitting escape a lot to prevent it from auto-completing things. Yeah. But no, I get where you're coming from, and I've heard that sort of thing from others as well. It would be nice if there was like a key combination to be like, now give me AI autocomplete, right? something like, normally you could do like test dot and then hit, control space to bring up this, but sort of like control I, but without having to type anything. What is it? How do I see key bindings? I don't know the key bindings to show keyboard hook. Yeah, Control K, Control S. Sure. Copilot. And again, this doesn't really help you because, of course, you're using the plugin for them. But oh yeah, comparison panel. When was the last time I used a comparison? Is that still a thing that exists? Don't know. Trigger inline suggestion. Alt /. Alt /. Ah, what did I just do? Alt / does nothing. Okay, well anyway. Something like that might be useful. And just like turn off the autocomplete. Right, so we added the survivor count. I wanted to yeah, level settings. There we go. Need coffee? Yes. This is the thing I could do of like having a group. I kind of don't want to have to remember to add groups to things. I want to just rely on the fact that I'm adding the right kind of node. I will do a if survivor count is less than or equal to 0, then logger.warning. Yeah. And then we decrement survivor count, and then this can be just like a trace. And we don't actually need these arguments. So there we go. So that will decrement the survivor count when the survivor dies. And then we need to do something like this where we trigger game over. How do we determine when all the waves are completed? All waves complete. There we go. All right. So, enemy spawner. Yeah, that. Well, that was easy. So when the enemy spawner gets through all the waves, then that will send a signal to the level, or rather, we've said to the spawner that we want to know about the signal being emitted, and so then we tell the game manager that we're done. So theoretically, you could just have the spawner. Well, the thing is, so the spawner is something that's specific to the level, but you could have the spawner directly invoke game manager. But then I like a little bit of indirection here, where we are saying the level owns the responsibility of knowing when things are actually fully done. That feels right to me. All right, going back to our list of things to do. Add game over screen with return to main menu button, and we also added the victory one. Add call to set game state from level, so we did that. Add survivor count to level script. Add call from target base class to parents, we did that. So this should be it. Shall we test it all? Okay. So defeating all the enemies is going to be hard with the way things are currently at. I think I will let the survivor die, and we'll see our game over. They should, like... Alright, it's going to take a little time for them to path around each other. I don't know if, actually... Yeah, okay. So, game manager state changed to game over. But it didn't show the thing. It didn't show the menu. Let's see. Problems. Okay. Target dead GD line 12. Ready. Signal died is already connected to given callable in that object. Okay. I don't know what that's about. Signal damaged already connected to the same thing. I'm not sure why that happened. Node not found. Enemy spawner relative to root main. So oh yeah. Wait. Hold on. There's no enemy spawner. This is the main script, right? So that's relative to here, but there's no enemies, so that's in the level. So I think it was maybe a miss when we cleaned up things. But there are no references to it, so I guess that's fine. Let's see, and then I don't know what these errors are about. They've never been a problem. So let's clear all that, and let's stop the game and start it again. Oh, right. So the reason we had zombies getting past the turrets before was because they have a cooldown on how often they can hit. And I imagine at some point, once we have actual graphics, we can like indicate that. The pathing is really cool to watch it decide to change things around. Okay, one got past all of it for whatever reason. We won't look into that too much, but will we trigger our end condition and show game over? No. So game state changed to game over. All survivors. Okay, so this is fine. This looks right, but it didn't actually trigger the game over. So why not? If we look at the game over menu and look at its script. Oh, you know why? Because I haven't actually added these scenes to the UI. That'd be why. That'd be why. Okay, so oops. Put that on top, and we'll put victory right there next to it. Yeah. Let's try that again. Start game. I'll just let the zombies come and take out the one survivor, and we'll see how that goes. We should get a thing that pops over that says game over. It won't pause the game, so things will be still happening behind it. Yeah. And technically you can still like maneuver around. I kind of like this for a game over where the kind of the world continues. And you return to main menu, it takes you here, and then you can start game. And we've completely reset the state, right? So if I put obstacles and stuff, but then we also get game over. After this, I'll change the spawner to only spawn like a wave of 1. But yeah, what I want to see is that the level is reset properly. Right, so we return here, start game. Our obstacles aren't here anymore. Our currency didn't get reset though. Yeah. Okay. So in the currency manager, we want to do something where we say game manager dot game state changed, and then we're going to handle game state change. Something like that. Do I want to do more than this? Like I could have it where, oh, if we hit game over, we set it to 0. Like it'll show up in the UI as being set to 0. Like you lost all your currency. But yeah, this at least will fix the issue of when we hit main menu. Yeah, I think that's fine. When we hit main menu, we will set the current currency to be starting currency. Currently, that's 100. That'll probably be 0 in the actual game, but this is just for testing. Here, hold on. To do, change back to 0 before release. Yeah, release. Well, I don't know if there's going to be a release, but I am proceeding with the idea that we were eventually going to. Okay, and then I said I was going to change the waves. So we'll just have 1 zombie wave for our level. So we'll delete wave 2, and wave 1 will be 1 enemy, 1 enemy, run. So this will spawn us a single zombie. I wish there was a quicker way to move in the world, but there's not. So hard to click. There we go. All right. Victory! And I can still zoom in and out and navigate in the world, but we've won. So return to main menu and start again. Currency's back to 100. We can quit. That quits the game. Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Okay, so that is the thing that we wanted to do. Send player to lost screen when target current level is destroyed, and more so, right? So if we have multiple, as long as we set the value for the survivor count in the level settings to correspond to the number of targets or survivors, then it should all be good. So let's commit all of this. I'm gonna have a separate commit for this. Is that really how you're gonna summarize that? Yeah, sure. Okay. And then the rest of it. Yeah, implement game over and victory menus with state management. Okay, push that branch. And we'll get a PR open. And we'll let Copilot review. I mean, honestly, it should just be. I think this is this commit title is a good one for the PR. I'll let Copilot review this while we take a little break. So it's been about an hour, and as I like to do, I'm gonna take like a 3-minute break while Twitch does its thing with ads. I'll go stretch my legs, and when we return, we can move on to the next thing in the backlog, which will be making the first level a little bit more interesting. So we have that to look forward to, and a review from Copilot. So I will be right back.